If there is one major indictment of our current era of entertainment, besides the fact that everything these days seems to be made on a conveyor belt, it's hype, or to be more specific, the overabundance of it. I usually watch these shows raw and full, not bothering to watch any reviews or articles about it, cause 1, I don't have uncontrolled access to the internet, and 2, 75% of reviews are always negative, while the other 25 are in cahoots with the people who made this sodding thing. But I am nothing if curious, and after hearing about this anime, I wanted to read up something about it, only to find that it's the best thing ever made, the worst thing ever made, is promoting National Socialism, and has a name that simultaneously explains everything you need to know about the series, is very pretentious, and hard to read if you know any other language after English. How am I supposed to read this? Darling in the Franxx, darling in the Franxx, darling in the Franxx. Darling and the France. Oh, that's just a combination of the inventor's surname and a representation of female chromosomes, you silly mask. Oh, silly me indeed. How could I not see the obvious symbolism of a woman body put in literally everything? Yes, not pretentious in any way. Darling and... fuck it, from now on I'm calling it Pineapple. Pineapple is a mecha science fantasy anime made by Trigger and A1 Pictures. It tells us a story about a world where humanity had discovered immortality and is using magma from Earth's crust as a universal source of energy, but for some reason these cubic thingies called Klaxosauruses don't like this and are attacking humanity indiscriminately to the point where they had to abandon the world to them and retreat into moving fortresses called plantations that are defended by these feminine robots called pineapples that are commanded by cloned children who instead of names are given code numbers. Our main hero is 016, a prodigal boy who fails his tests to become a pineapple pilot until he meets 002, a prodigal girl who kills her pilots during work, and who would have thunk it, he is the perfect pair to her, and after that shenanigans and dark revelations ensue, though it's less ensue and more stumbled upon randomly, as like with the previous anime, the show entices you with action in the first 2-3 episodes, and then it turns into a drama about these Mary Sues living in their little containment. Why are they Mary Sues, you may ask? Remember that part about humanity discovering immortality? Well, it also made them sterile and a bit emotionless, and you can't pilot pineapples without a properly functioning genitalia and emotions, so they clone and indoctrinate children into being disposable, mass-produced soldiers, while our main heroes are not quite like that. In fact, 016, or Hero as he's called, is the most stereotypical Mary Sue protagonist I've seen this year, as his only defining character trait is that he asks uncomfortable questions in a techno-fascist world, while the rest are exhibiting emotions and shit and even get to ride in custom pineapples. I mean, why bother showing us how a cog in the machine starts to question the situation around him and eventually rebels when you can show us people who clearly stand out in this world and treat it as if they are the only sane people in this entire charade and be done with it? The dribbling retards will eat it anyway, why fucking bother? But yeah. Drama. The vast majority of the anime is dedicated to our teenage heroes doing your average teenage things and other slice-of-life-esque shit in between murdering Klaxosaurs. The problem is that these characters, for the most part, are either one-dimensional or just blatantly uninteresting to watch. Every single one of them falls into and acts upon one or more cliches about anime teenage characters. A loud and obnoxious punk with a heart of gold? Check. An overly protective best friend who may or may not be secretly in love with you? Check. A goody two-shoes with a soft voice. A gay or semi-gay character whose only purpose in the anime is to be a gay or semi-gay character. A strange transfer student with strange abilities. Check. Check and check. Oh, and also the obvious bad guys are aliens, because, well, we had to portray our protagonists to be in the right somehow, might as well make it in the laziest way possible. And the rest of the show isn't exactly great either. Besides the opening Kiss of Death, there's pretty much no memorable songs in this anime. The graphics have literally reminded me of Outlaw Star and Captain Taylor, only at least those two had the decency to save money on far shots, not throughout the entire anime, and the action is duller than a car commercial. Not only it's so generic, I think some parody shows made it better, but also the battle animation goes from too sluggish in the beginning to nearly non-existent in the end. There are only two things about this anime I can definitely say were done right: the narrative and the ending. The story, though garbage, was made according to the Chekhov's gun principle. Every part of the story is connected. What we don't know is foreshadowed. What was foreshadowed will eventually be used in further episodes. This makes the story feel complete, no matter how much it insults your intelligence, and for that, I applaud it. The ending is pretty much the same, though it pulled some stupid stuff just for the sake of sequel baiting. It's bittersweet and concluded the story in the best way possible in those circumstances. That alone is better than what 80% of anime does these days. I want to say that I hate this anime, and, well, if you're still here, you probably think that I indeed hate it, but in truth, after all of this rambling, all I can say about Pineapple is that I feel empty just thinking about it. It barged into my life with a cacophony of noises behind it, and after it had its way with me, all I can say is that for better or worse, I have survived it, and for free, no less. Well, there are some positives to take out of this. Now I understand how DC fans feel after they walk away from the cinema.